Take it, Johnny! Welcome in. This is the Daily Podcast getting you up to date on news, nonsense, and my shenanigans. That's the Eric Zane Show Podcast. Created and powered by you. And I always like to stop down from time to time and point that out. It was the immediate response when I first went live in this unfinished room that charted the show in the top 100 on Apple Podcasts that made me believe that there's a spot for your old buddy Eric Zane here in this platform. So, man, geez, I just cannot wait to get into the ass kicking that took place on Mayor Bloomberg last night. That isn't really my place. I would very rarely would I ever say, let's break down the debate, and I won't. But the systematic dissecting that took place of this rich bastard was incredible. I mean, seriously, the guy can shit twice as fast now because he has a second asshole. Holy crap. More on that in a second as we get started here. And, well, you know, I'm very lucky to be here today because, a brush with serious accident. It could have been horrible. Rush hour traffic last night. The big artery going through West Michigan is there's 131, there's 96, there's 196. I'm on 196 as I enter into the downtown area on my way to work the drive game, the Grand Rapids drive game. And, man, there I am buzzing along. And the deer does not even look both ways at all. He doesn't even consider slowing down. And just dumb luck, he's far enough in front of me that the second I see him, I don't even have to slow down because, you know, this all happens in half a second. He's probably 40 yards ahead of me when I see him as he's in the middle of the road. It's that quick. He's out there. And then I remember that every time that I've seen a deer, there's always been more than one. Always. That was also the case now. Deer number 2 is going to hit the car. I am going to hit the deer. So at the time that he's on the shoulder, about to take the next big step into oblivion, okay, my car is Elizabeth Warren. The deer is Mike Bloomberg. I'm going to destroy the deer, and it's probably going to hurt me, or it's going to ruin my car. I mean, I'm traveling at, 70 miles an hour. Here, this is it. This is the big one. Well, then baby Jesus said, he's got to get to the game. And, he's been through a lot with expenses, with the dogs. And he's seems to be doing okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to this guy. So, dear, you will not, he uses the force. Baby Jesus up in heaven uses the force. Says, dear, you will not go on the road. You will not run into the road. And the deer turned away. He just stopped and immediately just ran back. And I didn't, normally when they get that tunnel vision, they're out there. He was spooked. He turned away the very possible instant because baby Jesus told him to do that. And I'm like, I can't believe that no car didn't. I couldn't even look in my rearview mirror. I didn't want to see. It would have been very traumatic to see the deer just hit another car. But I think he ran back into the woods. But my God, Holy crap. Thank you, Jesus, for sparing me. That would have been the worst, you know? I could have been badly hurt or worse. Someone else could have been hurt. The car would have been ruined after I just got it fixed at Irvine's Auto Repair. Well, it would have been a chance to take it over. Take this car to Riverbend Body Shop. Tell them that I sent me. Okay, last night was this big debate. And by the way, near the end of the podcast, you're going to want to be sure you're checking this out. By the way, you could be getting the podcast on Facebook, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Twitter handle, brought to you by Blue Frost IT, at Eric Zane Show. Or you're getting the pre-recorded version downloadable at ericzaneshow.com. At the end of the podcast, Senator Sanders makes a phone call. You all have been urging me to take the Senator Sanders voice and use it for evil. So at the prodding of you, I did that. I made a call to a unsuspecting person in Las Vegas, where the caucus is going to be held this weekend. So that happens at the end of this podcast. Senator Sanders will make a phone call. Hello. Yes, are you a registered voter? Hello. Hello, who is this, please? Medicare for all, Medicare for all. All right. I may have lost Bernie Sanders a vote. Let me just say that in this upcoming election. But, you know, oddly enough, I feel a little bit bad about. Okay. So last night, you got all the candidates up there. Bloomberg made the cut. He's up there. He's bought his way in. He's spent like $400. I undershot the amount that he spent the other day. $400 million on everything. All the ads you've heard on the radio, all the TV, all the internet ads. That's what he's done. And I'm just shocked that that's all it takes to make yourself viable is spending a ton of money. So, you know, they're all up there, and they think that they got to get rid of him first. And I think they did it. And it all comes down to the exchange. Well, they all went after him. But Warren in particular is what I saw, Senator Warren. I actually like just about all of these people. I think Biden's a little fruity. I don't know if I like him that much. But I actually like all of these people, with the exception of Bloomberg. I've never liked Bloomberg. So they get started, and Senator Warren, this is a preview of things to come later in the debate, as she opens up with this.
I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
Okay, now he's standing right next to her. That's rough. That's rough. Then about 40 minutes into the damn thing, I forget who the moderator was, but she asks Bloomberg a question about his treatment of people in the workplace, women specifically. And just the question alone was enough to make me go, holy shit, it's over. Because he either says, okay, because what she's accusing him of, he has to make it clear, and he doesn't really answer, but the question alone and his lack of an answer tells me he's dead in the water. All right, now people do stupid stuff in the past all the time. If I were running for president, I wouldn't even make it one day without somebody saying some shit about me. But this is an unbelievable dissecting of Mayor Bloomberg. And I'll be pausing this quite a bit and making my usual comments.
I'll let you get in here, but Mayor Bloomberg,
it would save me a lot of money.
Let me ask you about something else. Several former employees have claimed that your company was a hostile workplace for women. When you were confronted about it, you admitted making sexually suggestive remarks, saying, quote, "That's the way I grew up." In a lawsuit in the 1990s, according to the Washington Post, one former female employee alleged that you said, quote, "I would do you in a second." Should Democrats expect better from their nominee?
Okay. So if they're saying all these things that I said, I would do you in a second. A boss said that to an employee. If he doesn't say, I never said those things, then he did it. And then that's not going to bode well for you. I mean, seriously, how can you rebound after that?
Let me say a couple things, and if I can have my full minute and a quarter. Thank
All right,
you.
now he's already starting to stammer and stumble like a blathering moron because he knows that the tip is in his butthole at this point, and it's uncomfortable for him. Do you hear that? You're hearing a candidacy end when he fumbles around like an idiot to start there.
Quote, I would do you in a second. Should Democrats expect better from their nominee?
Let me say a couple things. And
No, they shouldn't.
if I can have my full minute and a quarter, thank you. I have no tolerance for the kind of behavior that the Me Too movement has exposed. And anybody that does anything wrong in our company, we investigate it, and if it's appropriate, they're gone that day. But let me tell you what I do in my company and my foundation and in city government when I was there. In my foundation, the person that runs it's a woman. 70% of the people there are women. In my company, lots and lots of women have big responsibilities. They get paid exactly.
Can you imagine if he said, instead of big responsibilities, he said big tits? And oh, I meant responsibilities. Oh, no, my God. He runs off stage.
Same as men. And in my in City Hall, the top person, my deputy mayor, was a woman, and 40% of our committee.
He sounds like he's stumbling all over, can't even finish a sentence. He could have been a co-host of mine on BBL.
Were women. I am very proud of the fact that about 2 weeks ago we were awarded. We were voted the the best place to work, second best place in America. If that doesn't say something about our employees and how happy they are, I don't know what does.
All right.
Senator Warren, you've been critical of Mayor Bloomberg on this issue.
Sparse applause. Now here comes the big one. This is it. This is the real. If that wasn't bad enough, that was okay. All she did was ask a question. He didn't answer it. All he did was talk about the great place it is to work. He didn't even. And the question was, should we expect better? And he just did a resume of shit that he thinks is great. But if that wasn't bad enough, as he stammered and stumbled around on that shithole answer, Senator Warren smells the blood in the water, and here comes Mama Shark. Do 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 do. Mama Shark. Do 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 do. Mama Shark. Do 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 do. Mama Shark.
Yes, I have, and I hope you heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women.
Oh, fuck.
That just doesn't cut it. The mayor has to stand on his record, and what we need to know is exactly what's lurking out there. He has gotten some number of women, dozens, who knows, to sign non-disclosure agreements, both for sexual harassment and for gender discrimination in the workplace. So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to release all of those women from those non-disclosure agreements so we can hear their side of the story?
Oh, no! Oh, my God. Listen to that pop.
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is that?
Let me finish.
How many is that?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like a joke I told.
Oh.
And let me put, there's agreements between two parties that wanted
worse.
to keep it quiet. And that's up to them. They signed those agreements, and we'll live with it.
So wait, when you say
You hear Biden's getting into it. He goes, come on. Somebody talk to me.
I just want to be clear. Some is how many?
Oh, shit.
And when you say they signed them and they wanted them, if they wish now to speak out and tell their side of the story about what it is they allege, that's now okay with you? You're releasing them on television tonight?
Senator?
Oh, fuck! Oh, no!
Tonight?
Senator, the company and somebody else, in this case, a man or a woman, or could be more than that, They decided when they made an agreement that they wanted to keep it quiet for everybody's interest. They signed the agreements, and that's what we're going to do.
I'm sorry. No, the question is, are the women bound by being muzzled by you? And you could release them from that immediately, because understand, this is not just a question of the mayor's character. This is also a question about electability. We are not going to beat Donald Trump with a man who has who knows how many non-disclosure agreements and the drip, drip, drip of stories of women saying they have been harassed and discriminated against. That's not what we do as Democrats.
I like how Sanders is completely quiet in this. I wish that they had put a like a camera on him, because he'd be smiling. Like, hell yes, go get him, Elizabeth.
Let's get something straight here.
Okay, now Biden jumps in. Here you go. He's probably going to say, let's get something straight here. Barack Obama never harassed women. Everything that Biden says, he's like a barker for Barack Obama. So anyway, Barack Obama, when he was in the White House, he never had a non-disclosure agreement, and I was next to him.
All the mayor has to do is say, you are released from the non-disclosure agreement.
If I'm Elizabeth Warren, I'm like, yeah, I already said that, you stupid old idiot. Now don't try to weasel your way into my ass kicking. Be quiet.
Period. We talk about transparency here. This guy got himself in trouble, maybe saying that he couldn't disclose what he did.
Up.
He went to his company.
Just to be super clear, that was about the list of clients.
No.
I
don't know what's going on there. Buttigieg says something, and then Biden touches him. He touches everybody. Constantly touching people. Wow. It's over. I mean, that was devastating. As soon as it happened, that's when I tweeted out, who just saw Elizabeth Warren murder Mike Bloomberg? And that was systematic. That was dissecting. That was intricate surgery. Oh, shit. And then within seconds, the Twitterverse, everybody's blowing up saying the same damn thing. I wake up this morning, they kick off the Today Show with how Elizabeth Warren just beat the shit out of Mike Bloomberg. Oh, that was special. My goodness. Woo. All right. That's all I wanted to say about that. I don't want to get into any more about it. I didn't follow it enough. That was the one big takeaway that I wanted to harp on here, but holy smokes. The Open is brought to you by the managed IT service provider for the Eric Zane Show Podcast, Blue Frost IT. Online at bluefrostit.com. Reach out to them at 616-200-8550. All right, 616-200-8550. Managed IT service provider is it's your IT department. Except you don't have to, pay for their insurance, make them full-time employees. You just pay Blue Frost IT once a month, the fee for the service, and you're taken care of. Things go south. If you need IT help, you just call on your IT department. They can work on your setup remotely from their location. Hey, I'm taking over. And all of a sudden your computer starts working with them doing it, and they do some type of voodoo magic. I don't know. Because if productivity is what you want to remain uncompromised, the last thing you need is your network to go kablooey. That's what Blue Frost IT takes care of. 616-200-8550. Call Alan or Ashlyn today. Thank you to Blue Frost IT. The inventor of synthetic motor oil is AMSOIL. Buy it at JM Synthetics. Click on their logo on the Eric Zane Show Podcast homepage, ericzaneshow.com. In the lower sponsor scroll, and buy. Who's that dude that says that? Buy. Buy as much AMSOIL as you can for your car, your boat, your RV, whatever it is. AMSOIL. Buy it from listener Jason. He's awesome. Thank you to him for sponsoring the show. Bennett Flooring Installation. They install the stuff into your home. They also sponsor Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia with $25 each matchup. Sign up on Patreon. You can get $1,500 in carpet installed in April. We're having a drawing with Bennett Flooring Installation. Their number is 616-318-0167. Call Jacob, 616-318-0167. Bennett Flooring Installation. Follow them on Twitter at Flooring Bennett for Bennett Flooring Installation. Thank you to them for sponsoring the podcast. All right. As you know, you can reach out to me anytime. Twitter, Facebook, and, of course, via email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. This story sent to me about some dumbass from Austin, Texas. Repeat offender when it comes to drunk driving. And this one takes a horrible turn. To think that someone can be this drunk while driving, that something this terrible can happen, and then it gets worse. This incident resulted in a horrible fatality on Saturday night. Some of this is caught on video. I'll link it up in the show notes of the audio podcast. That's not good. Where did it go? All right. Got to back up. Oh, this is terrible. Hang on. Let me get my thoughts. Let me grab out of them. Let me itch my eye. Damn it. This is how it goes when you're all alone and then things go kablooey on the iPad. Do not have a temper tantrum. Stay calm. It's always a pain in the ass, and I've talked about this before, when what you're looking at is there. But the page is so loaded down with ads that if you put your finger anywhere on the page, everything goes apeshit. 24-year-old dude. I'll just let that
crash site and where the driver finally stopped on Manchac.
Okay, here
he was arrested a short time later at a bar nearby. KXAN's Alex Capriello shows us surveillance video from the arrest, and business owners told him they're concerned about this section of road. And
what they already missed on the story was the fact that the guy was driving down the road in Austin, Texas, 24-year-old dude, and he hits a pedestrian. The pedestrian goes flying over the hood of the car and does, in fact, die. The pedestrian goes through the windshield of the car. From there, the guy does not stop. The person is next to him in the car. Guy is so hammered, he keeps driving. Witnesses to the crash tell Austin police they saw a Ford Focus hit the dude pushing a shopping cart at the intersection of Menchaca and Slaughter Lane. What? So, idiot drunk driver smashes into pedestrian on Slaughter Lane. My God, they might want to change the name of the street going forward. Victim was a 55-year-old man. After hitting Lee Martin Cagle, the victim, the driver, identified as Paul Joseph Garcia Jr., continued to drive on the street down Slaughter. Witnesses saw Garcia Jr. pull the car over and calmly walk away from it. Later, Garcia was seen walking barefoot just south of the scene and walked into the bar. There's actually video of him stumbling into the bar. The co-owner of the bar said the staff recognized something was wrong almost immediately. They met him at the door and tried to calm him down. Surveillance video shows That Garcia Jr. emerged from a drainage ditch without shoes on. Cops show up on the scene, and sure enough, the guy is stuck inside of the car, dead guy. When cops spoke with Drunk, he alluded to the crash and was detained by the cops. Garcia was not served any booze at the bar there. He just kind of walked into there. An investigator reported in the report that he was traveling at a high rate of speed based on the evidence on the scene. They say he drove a half mile with dude in the car with him. My God. It's hard to believe that anybody can be that drunk and say, yep, all right, I'm going to get in the car. Other people say that they're not.
I'm Jeff Thomas with ATV.
That scared the hell out of me. Rest in peace to my ears. Whew. My God. Amy Harwick's brother is speaking out. She, of course, passed away when she was in that horrible domestic dispute, pushed out of a third-story window, and then Wendy Williams did this on her show.
Drew Carey's ex-fiance was tragically murdered over the weekend. Look, it was like 3 o'clock on Saturday morning. And there was
everything about that is weird. Even that, just the look. It's something about her tone, her pacing. It just sounds so jacked from the get-go. My God.
Drew Carey's ex-fiance was tragically murdered over the weekend. Look, it was like 3 o'clock on Saturday morning.
If you say look, that's like you would say, I got into a car accident over the weekend. Oh, look, it wasn't my fault. Not look, it happened in the morning.
And there was screaming in the neighborhood in L.A. She lived with a girl roommate, and the roommate heard the screaming. The neighbors all around the neighborhood heard the screaming, and they called 911. Once the cops got there, she was down there dead on the ground.
God.
Yep. Was pushed off of a third-floor balcony.
God, if it ended here, it would already be really, really disrespectful. But
I'll give you a little backstory. So, she was killed not by Drew, but by the ex. Come on down. Why are you putting allegedly? This story is everywhere. All right, lawyer lady.
That silence was just so insane. And then she did come on down, and she was looking up, and then her head tracked all the way down like she's watching a person fall off. All of that was planned. That was not spur of the moment, because if she said, look, Drew did not, because she talks about him. I mean, where were you going to go with that? Nowhere, unless you had it planned in your brain that you were going to unload that joke. What a frickin' pig. I hate that sick bitch. What an asshole. Now her brother, his name is Chris, not to be confused with the comic, and he did, Rock and Roll Jeopardy or whatever, Chris Hardwick, you remember him? This is Harwick. Amy Harwick's brother is demanding an apology. Who cares about an apology? If she says sorry, whatever, that doesn't do anything. You got to demand like a hit on her at this point. You got to demand that she's taken off of the air immediately. Any TV distributor that would agree to put that shit show on after this thing. I mean, talk about somebody who did nothing. Amy Harwick is just like she's like an advice expert. She didn't do anything to anyone. No one even really knew who the hell she was. Harwick wants an apology from Wendy Williams after she mocked the death of Amy. And he says domestic violence is something no one should be joking about. He told Fox News in a piece published on Wednesday, "This is a difficult time for my family and for Wendy Williams. To make light of this tragedy is very upsetting to us and extremely distasteful." How the hell does she keep a gig? Again, let's go back to this. I got fired for making fun of pants. She's referencing her death that way a day and a half after she was murdered by some crazy guy in a horrible act of domestic violence. Pants. My sister worked tirelessly for domestic violence victims and women's rights. He added, Wendy Williams should apologize publicly to my family for the comment. No, she needs to be frickin' fired. It all comes following reports of a backlash against Williams over comments she made during her show Monday in which she made that joke. Horrible. In the next thing I want to talk about is a football player. I guess you could say former football player. He hasn't done shit since he left college. Greg Robinson. He was a standout offensive lineman at Auburn. He was drafted by the Rams a handful of years ago, and very, very high draft pick, first rounder. And he hasn't done shit in the NFL because clearly his priorities are a little bit messed up. This story was burning up yesterday about what happened to him and how much trouble he is in. That in just a second. Thanks to the listener who reached out to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. And this is great because this person I know lives far away from the Lakeshore. And from me urging them, reached out to the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage and said, hey, what do you got for me? I want some more information. Well, I know that once that call is made at 231-332-6505, I know that Mario is going to work his magic and just knock it out of the park. And I'm learning that that is the case. And after some discussions, the listener is, in fact, signing on the dotted line and getting a mortgage from my friends at Van Dyke Mortgage, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team. Thank you to whoever that is. I appreciate that. Mario appreciates that. He reaches out to me and says, I'm so stoked. We've only been at this for a short amount of time. We already have this person who's trusting us to do the great job that we're going to do. That's awesome. That's how this works. If you're thinking about a refi, you're thinking about a mortgage, thinking about your first mortgage, whatever it may be, call the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage at 231-332-6505. If you're in West Michigan, come home to a clean house. A&D Cleaning. Amy wants to clean your house. Call her today at 616-550-3644 for an estimate. While I'm at it, they are back. The Kent County Health Department each month. I'm telling you about an important initiative taking place with the Kent County Health Department. Now, they signed on mid-February, so we're running out of time to talk about Dental Health Awareness Month. But it's very, very important, especially because in Kent County, 60,000 residents drink their water from wells. And you're like, what? What does that have to do? Well, actually, a lot. It has a lot to do with it. There's been a lot of talk about what's in the wells, and in this case, what's not in the wells. If your young children are drinking water from a well, and that's fine, but you do need to know that that water does not have fluoride in it. That's right. You need that. If that's not in the water, there's more of an opportunity for issues that can pop up with your young kids' teeth. What to do? There's something called fluoride varnishing, which I had, up until this week, had never heard of. And, like, legit, you have fluoride put on the teeth, like with a brush. They put it on. It costs a little bit of money, though, if you were to do that on your own. But if you qualify, some of the underprivileged people in Kent County do, you get that free. Protect your small kids with fluoride varnish. All you have to do is reach out to the Kent County Health Department. Find out if you qualify. You can go to their website. All the information is there, and I'll link it up in the show notes of this audio podcast. I'll also put it on the homepage of ericzaneshow.com. Take you right to their page. Thank you, Kent County Health Department. All right. The football player's name is Greg Robinson. He's had a horrible career. He hasn't done shit. You know it's bad if, you start your NFL career out and then you wind up on the Detroit Lions. That's not great. And then just as bad or worse, depending on who you talk to, the Cleveland Browns. Those two teams are the shittiest of teams in the NFL. So if you start at one level and then work your way down to basically a couple of XFL teams, you're probably doing something wrong. Well, this guy was great at football when he played at Auburn. But then I think he got a little bit too much into smoking pot because that became a priority. So the other day he was driving from Los Angeles to Louisiana, and he drives by a drug-sniffing dog. Now, I don't know if the drug-sniffing dog was at a checkpoint and they were moving slowly, or if it was a drug-sniffing dog in another car. I don't know if that's possible. If you have a drug-sniffing dog in a car and you're traveling down the road and then a car loaded with drugs passes you, I'm wondering, does the dog know it? Can the dog sense it? Does the dog start doing what drug-sniffing dogs do when they detect pot or whatever? It isn't clear in the story. But apparently that's kind of what happened. This dude, Robinson, was in the car with another idiot, and they had 157 pounds of pot in the car. They ended up getting busted. They were booked by the Drug Enforcement Administration earlier this week after federal agents said they found the pot in a rented vehicle in which he and two other people were riding. Robinson and some other moron who also played football for a time, doesn't matter who he is, charged with possessing marijuana with the intention to sell, according to the El Paso County jail records. I guess they were in Texas when it all happened. Bray, this other dude, Joaquin Bray, played college football at Auburn with Robinson, spent 3 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts. Both were held without bond pending an initial appearance before a judge. If convicted, both could be sentenced to up to 20 years in federal prison. According to a criminal complaint filed Wednesday by the DEA, Robinson, Bray, and an unidentified third person were driving from L.A. to Louisiana in a rented SUV on Interstate 10 through a remote section of West Texas Monday. It says, according to the article, when they passed a Border Patrol agent with a drug-sniffing dog, the dog detected the scent of marijuana. The agent radioed ahead to the patrol's checkpoint in near Sierra Blanca, Texas, 83 miles southeast of El Paso. So, yeah, it isn't clear. Is it you slow down and drive by the drug-sniffing dog, and then he says, all right, stop this SUV? Is that how it worked? I'm not sure. Because if he was in a car, I doubt it was. They were both in cars driving down the road. It doesn't really say it. Who knows? The unidentified guy was not a willing participant. That guy was an Uber driver who also drove and ran errands for Robinson and his family and friends. The passenger there, while the drug enforcement agents are searching the car, said, I had no idea this was going on. They're like, yeah, right. He goes, no, look at my phone. So the DEA agent looks at his phone, and it shows text that showed Robinson had offered to pay guy number 3 to claim ownership of the marijuana. He said, look, he's texting me right now. He's texting me to say it's mine. And they go, what? The text showed the passenger said, no, I'm not doing that. And the passenger wrote, hey, I wouldn't even be in this car with you if I'd have known the drugs were in here. So the DEA guy said, all right, you probably didn't have anything to do with this. You're free to go. And they let that guy go. But Robinson is screwed. The Browns had already conveyed to Robinson they would not re-sign him in the offseason. So that's pretty much didn't have a team. But this dumbass, holy crap, 157 pounds of pot. Busted. What an asshole. More criminal news. The headline reads, man with huge forehead tattoo saying crime pays. Back in jail again after police chase. You'll be able to see it. I'll link it up. But right across his forehead, it says crime pays. Seriously. Led police on a short chase before being arrested. Donald Murray, 38 years old, Terre Haute, Indiana, led authorities in a short pursuit on February 17th, arrested a short time later and charged with several crimes. Sorry. Boy, I'm struggling today. He was resisting felony, resisting a misdemeanor, reckless driving, possession of methamphetamine, maintaining a common nuisance, and auto theft. Second time in just a few months that Murray's been arrested. He first came to notoriety when he was featured on an episode of a show called Live PD late last year when he was chased by cops for driving without any lights and then crashed into a tree and escaped on foot. Apprehended a short time later and allegedly told cops that he didn't know his name. It makes you wonder, did he get the tattoo after that show or what? And crime clearly doesn't pay if he's constantly being caught. He's held on $15,000 bond following his latest chase and is scheduled to appear in court on Friday, according to jail records. Good job. I've got a dog survey coming up that somebody sent to me and said, you know, Zane, this might apply to you. Compare it to your scenario. Survey about how we treat our dogs and whether or not we value the relationship more than our relationships with people. Now, I can't go that far, but I do want to use it for comparison's sake about what we do in our household, with our dogs. Okay. Boy, everything is trying to screw with me today. Hang on a second. Oh, my God. As I sit here, I just, stopped my audio recording, so I have to... What an idiot. Boy, I'm telling you, there is numerous things trying to ruin my show today, and it's spelled E-R-I-C. Prince Army, get your CPL 616-204-1705. Thanks to them. Next class is coming up March 7th. 616-204-1705. Get your CPL. Conceal that thing. Baldwin Ace Hardware, as you know, the kings of DIY goodness in the Northland. Thank you to them. They also sponsor the Hockey Heaven podcast. Published a new episode yesterday with Brian Lashoff. Thank you. And, of course, Hudsonville Fit Body Boot Camp. 10 locations throughout West Michigan, all owned by the same folks. Get in shape today at Fit Body Boot Camp. I said Hudsonville, but they're all over the place. Granville, Grand Rapids, Grand Haven, Muskegon, Fit Body Boot Camp. Check them out online at fitbodybootcamp.com. 5 things that pet owners love their dogs more than humans. I wouldn't go that far. But this article was forwarded to me from MLive. And this survey was conducted by a online publication known as Rover. It says they shower their dogs with attention. Pet owners do. Dog owners and splurge on expensive gifts because their dog is their best friend and they want to be their dog's best friend too. Now look, I don't spend money on gifts for the dogs. I think that's kind of senseless. Outside of dog treats and a dog bed, the only thing we spend our money on is, health care. A lot of it. The article says thousands of dog owners across the country responded to the survey. Overall, the report reveals that human-dog relationship has evolved from ownership to kinship. Well, of course. This new who just gets a dog and says, I own you? I mean, seriously, you got to love them up. This new relationship means dogs are more humanized and treated like family as pet parents, quote, seek to bring their dogs as much joy as their dogs bring them. If you recognize yourself in the following survey results, you're likely part of what Rover calls the dog people pack. All right. Do you have dogs on social media and in your phone? Do I? Holy shit. Every time I turn around, I'm taking a picture of one of the dogs. I'm looking at a dog blanket. Hold on. In case you've never seen this, I'll go get it. Hang on. It's right over here. Look at this. Is this not the greatest? Is this not the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life? That is awesome. Forget social media. They're on everything around here. Take a look at your phone, the article reads. How many photos do you have of your dog compared to friends? Oh, I don't know. 8,000 dogs, 0 for friends. Hell, I only have like 3 friends to begin with. I've got more dogs than friends. Comparing it to your friends, family, or your significant other. If you're like most dog owners, there's more pics of your precious pup than anyone else. Absolutely. Study found that 65% of dog owners take more photos of their dog than of their friends or significant other. In addition, 29% of dog owners post more photos of their pet on social media than friends, family, or themselves, flooding their friends' feeds with adorable fur babies. A dog's role in romance. Now, when I first read that, I went, what's going on? You know, does that mean you like bone with the dog on the bed? Because that does happen in my household. Crossing fingers that my kids aren't listening to this. Who's more important, it says, your dog or your romantic partner? Well, my romantic partner. That's what I would say. According to the survey, 54% of pet parents would end a relationship if they thought their dog wasn't a fan of the person. Well, I wouldn't go. That's just crazy. I don't have sex with my dog. In addition, 47% of those who have a significant other and a dog admit they'd have a harder time leaving their dog for a week than their human partner. Yeah, that's a little weird. Man's best family member, it reads. Nearly all survey respondents, gosh, I sound like Mike Bloomberg today. 94% consider their dog as a family member. Well, what's up with the 6%? They're like, no, it's just there. Of course it's a family member. And 56% greet their dog first when arriving home. Yeah, I do that, but that's because they run to the door. Like Benny's usually upstairs, but the 3 do. They sprint to the door every time. If I've been gone for 10 minutes, they act like I haven't seen them in, 3 months. So, of course, they're the best family member, or at least right up there. Love of dogs. When you're having a bad day, what gives you a pick-me-up to get you through the day? If you're a dog person, it's probably a photo-video interaction with the dog, not a human. I don't know. If I'm having a bad day, nothing really gets me out of it. Not a damn thing. I mean, I sit there and pet the dog, but sit there and just feel bad while I'm petting the dog. Dog ownership boosts health. Well, yeah, I guess it says it decreases stress levels. It can also increase stress levels too. When you're taking 104 so Monday you take O'Neill to the vet. Tuesday you take Daisy. 3 is Bruce. 4 is Benny, and then 5, 6, and 7 are the cats. Pet parents are mentally healthier. All right, maybe to a point. Pet parenting also increases leisure time. No, it doesn't. Not for me. And physical activity by 69%. I would say it definitely increases physical activity, walking those dogs. Odds and ends on the survey. Most dog owners, 88%, have taken steps to make sure their dog doesn't get lonely, including leaving the TV on or getting a second pet. Well, I guess so. We have a ton. So 33% have cried when leaving their dog at home. Nope. 82% of dog owners worry about their dog when they're away. Not really, because I usually drop the dogs off at Lisa's if we go away for a period of time. Doggone spoiled pet dog sitting. Not pet. That's a freebie. Doggone spoiled dog sitting in Jenison, Michigan. 51% sing to their dog. No, I'm just always going, puppy, baby, puppy dog, yeah, puppy. But it isn't like to the dog. 39% have bought something personalized for their dog. Nope. 47% frequently leave work early to let their dog out. Well, I work at home. So I kind of agree with a number of those things. All right. Senator Sanders will make a phone call next to an unsuspecting voter in Las Vegas. That's how we'll end the show. Big caucus this weekend there. BK Guns and Stuff, part of the Saranac Shit Kicker group of sponsors of the show. 616-902-2447. If your gun's busted, take it to BK Guns and Stuff. Franco's Pizza. Order a pie from those folks today. They got a full menu. You can just check it out online, francosgr.com. Great subs, sandwiches, everything. Order a pizza all day, every day. You can get an 18-inch with one topping for just $14. Pick up only 616-361-7307. I can't tell if my 6 is a 5 or my 5 is a 6. 616-361-7307. All right.
Oh.
Hi there. Is this the Jamal residence? Hello?
Yeah, who's calling?
My name is Chris Michels. I'm from the Las Vegas Democrats. I have Senator Bernie Sanders with me on the phone ahead of the caucus. He's calling random voters to basically see what they think about politics and the upcoming caucus here in Las Vegas. Would you be willing to talk to Senator Sanders?
Yes.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay, great. This is you're actually the first one. Can I have your first name, please?
Dorothy.
Dorothy, can just for demographic purposes, can I get your age?
77.
Okay, excellent. Are you by chance a Republican or a Democrat?
Democrat.
Okay. You may hear a click on the phone, and then Senator Sanders will be the next voice that you hear. Okay, Dorothy?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. What is the first initial of your last name?
Williams. W-I-L.
Dorothy W. Okay, stand by.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, this is Senator Sanders. To whom am I speaking with?
Dorothy Williams.
Hello, Ms. Williams. How are you today?
Fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited about the prospect of caucusing in your great state of Nevada. So, what I usually do when I start these conversations, I ask you, what is the most pressing thing in this election, please, Miss Dorothy W.
The thing I'm most concerned about, I like everything that you say except for Medicare for all and taking people away from their secondary insurance. And what's going to happen there? That's almost impossible. It does not compute.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it, after I am elected, I am going to make it so that you can no longer receive your current insurance because your current insurance stinks. So I'm just going to say it what it is. Your current insurance policy is horrible. So I will give you the government insurance, Medicare for all. But I will do that by making the fat cats have to pay for you. So, yeah, that's basically it.
Oh, well, I like my insurance. I worked for my insurance all my life. I like that.
It's a horrible, horrible thing. They have tricked you into believing that your insurance is good. Your insurance stinks.
Well, my insurance, I work for it. I get it free for the rest of my life through my job, through my retirement, and I don't want that taken away.
Well, I'm going to pay for your new insurance. All the fat cats and the big banks are going to pay for your insurance going forward. So I'm going to wipe out your insurance. No more. You will have to change your physician, all of that stuff. And everything will work through the government now.
Oh, okay. I understand. Well, good luck, sir.
So can I count on your vote?
Oh, no, not for that. You have to revise that Medicare for all. You have to
listen.
You have to make it where if you like your insurance, keep it. We will provide Medicare for all for those who want it.
No.
Now, that's more sensible.
That's not sensible at all. That's a horrible idea. I don't know who taught you that.
That's what I think. That's what I think because I like my insurance that I work for during my career.
So this is what I have done. So what I'm going to do is I'll count on your vote then, and then I'm going to change your insurance company from this day forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. I don't think Dorothy's going to vote for Bernie. I think I'm getting too old for this. I actually feel a little bad about that. All right, folks, that's it. I'm going to take it over to Patreon a little bit. Thank you so much for being part of the podcast. Have a great one. Bye-bye.